Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Burdett, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening. The ANC's Pula and Zizi Kodwa step aside from ANC duties amid separate allegations of sexual abuse. Outrage over the so-called resurrection incident at the Alleluia Ministries International Church. The religious community is saying it makes a mockery of their faith. And over 200 million rand, what would you do with it? We speak to the Powerball jackpot winner to find out if he's going to stash or flash the cash. We start here. The ANC is in damage control mode this evening over two of its most prominent members, Pula and Zizi Kodwa, who both speak for the party, have stepped down over sexual misconduct allegations. Mabe was last week cleared by a disciplinary committee of sexual harassment, but his accuser is now pressing charges. Kodwa has been accused of rape. His accuser has not laid charges as yet. Kodwa claims it's all a dirty tricks campaign. The party's Secretary-General Ace Magashule spoke to the media earlier today. He stressed the two men made a voluntary decision to step aside and that anyone accused of wrongdoing is innocent until proven guilty.
We think some of these matters are fabricated. There is an agenda. Who is driving this agenda? We don't know. We are also in that period of elections. And I'm sure many other things will be happening. So we don't want to judge. We are just saying the comrades have volunteered and they feel so strong that they are hurt. But the women are also saying they are also hurt. And so we are not judges. We want to give the necessary support to everybody. So that the media tomorrow and the South African public don't say that the ANC is hiding anything from the public.
During the time when I went through what I called one of the hardest trials in my life, I have sought to remove myself from any conspiracy theories. What I did was to attend to the issues that were brought up, make sure that I clarify myself to the best of my knowledge on those. And I will not even want again to ventilate on the merits and demerits of the case because those were ventilated in the correct and appropriate platform.
To Parliament now, and Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane has survived an attempt by the DA to remove her. The majority of members on the Justice Portfolio Committee refused to recommend an inquiry into her fitness to hold office. The official opposition initiated the process after a court slammed Mkhwebane's findings on the Absa CX matter and her recommendations on changes to the Reserve Bank's mandate. Annika Larson has those details.
The report found it would be premature to probe the public protector as she awaits the outcome on an appeal in a costs order that was made against her.
Our term as the Fifth Parliament is coming to an end within a very short space of time. But as of now, we think as a committee have resolved that it is very much premature to expedite or to carry on with the process of her removal.
Despite being fierce critics of Busisiwe Mkhwebane in the past, the EFF voted against holding an inquiry into her fitness to hold office.
EFF doesn't play a man, it plays a ball. We don't say that if you did something which we were doubting you, we ban you permanently. That's what we don't do that as EFF. As EFF, we check what you are doing in the present, in the past, and we monitored.
But the DA's MP, Glynis Breitenbach, is furious. She says the report is a sham, she'll be producing her own minority report, and the party may take the matter further.
This report is nothing but a glossing over of all of the things that took place. There has been no substantial debate. This report is not substantial at all.
The public protector serves a non-renewable 7-year term. Busisiwe Mkhwebane took office in 2016. Annika Larson, Parliament.
Now to a shocking video. Police in Pula are investigating the mob killing of a 28-year-old man. The murder, which was filmed, has sparked the Justice for Toriso online campaign. Now, Toriso Themani's body was found dumped in Flora Park on Sunday. Please be warned, we are playing edited clips from the video. It's nonetheless still quite shocking. Police investigations reveal that Themani was attacked by a group of mostly teenagers. A pupil from a local school has allegedly been identified as one of the people involved in the attack. Police say one teenager has been arrested. Videos circulating on social media show Themani being kicked in the face. Another one shows him being carried while bleeding. Police say the motive for the attack is unknown at this stage. The video, of course, has horrified South Africa and raised serious questions around violence among young people.
We are told by the family that Toriso was actually on his way home after a church conference rehearsal in Westernburg, which is in the west of Polokwane, when he was attacked at a park in Flora Park. You will understand, if you have been following the public outcry on social media, you could have seen some videos doing the rounds showing a lifeless body being carried by a group of boys or teenage mob in the evening. The incident happened in Flora Park on Saturday. So at this stage, what we know is that the police are on the matter. They are investigating these issues, and 10 arrests are imminent in connection with the murder of Toriso. At this stage, we understand one person or one suspect has been taken in for questioning.
And there's been a new development in the so-called resurrection video. The footage shows a man in an open coffin supposedly being resurrected from the dead, but with strong signs of a staged, managed theatrical display. The so-called miracle is sowing division. Other religious leaders and the CRL Rights Commission, they're up in arms. And they're even within the congregation at the Alleluia Ministries International Church, great concerns over the issue. Slindile Masikane has the story.
A miracle, a hoax, or just plain fraud? This is the church of Pastor Alf Lekau, shown in a video purportedly raising a man from the dead.
Man is commanding life.
The man was supposedly dead for days before his family took him to Lekau. We spoke to some members of the congregation who were present on the day of the so-called miracle.
I had prayed God for 35 years to see with my own eyes how people are resurrected. And last Sunday, my prayer was answered.
But there are some who are questioning the event.
What also confused me as a member is that how can a family bring somebody with a coffin to church and at the same time they say the man was not dead? This thing is just confusing, all of it.
The Kings and Queens funeral parlor has now laid fraud charges against the church and the man's family.
There are instructions coming my way to pursue civil claims against parties for reputational damage and stuff like that.
Police have already seized the coffin the man was lying in. The CRL Rights Commission is also investigating.
All our discussions will be under oath, so that if we are told untruths, then we can always lay criminal charges.
Other pastors are critical, saying the incident brings religion into disrepute. This includes the man who once posted selfies of himself supposedly in heaven.
I don't know why was it done. Was the pastor fooled? Maybe this man or somebody set up the pastor, or is it himself? I don't know really. But this, it's a great humiliation to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Church officials confirmed an interview with ENCA, but cancelled at the last minute, saying it would possibly release a statement on Wednesday. It says for now, it's seeking legal advice. Slindile Masikane, Johannesburg.
Other stories making headlines today. Eskom Energy Manager Dan Mashigo told the State Capture Inquiry how the parastatal favoured deals with Gupta-linked Tegeta. He's testified about the poor quality of coal received from the company's mine And the man who queried this was allegedly suspended by the previous head of Generation, Machela Koko. Glencore's Clinton Efron is set to testify tomorrow. Former PIC board member Dudu Shwayo today told the PIC inquiry that Finance Minister Tito Mboweni wanted the board to resign immediately or face being fired. Shwayo says this ultimatum was conveyed to the board by Deputy Finance Minister Mondli Gungubele. The inquiry also heard about the attempts by the Public Investment Corporation to recoup the 4.3 billion rand invested in AO Technologies. Now, we all dream of what we would do with the money if we won the lottery. Well, that dream has come true for a 50-year-old Cape Town man. He's the winner of a record 232 million rand Powerball jackpot. The man's been playing the same numbers since 2007. Keeping his identity hidden, the instant millionaire spoke to our reporter a little earlier, Linda Qunu.
There will be a big difference in my life. But for me, I'm going to take it step by step. I'm not going to rush into anything, spend money left and right. I will take my time and think through it.
Just take us through your previous, not revealing too much, of course, but through your previous situation, how you were living and how you were making ends meet before.
Well, as I said, it was for me living from hand to mouth. And there was sometimes that it felt for me that I disappoint my kids and I cannot provide them what I promised them. But I was always on my knees and my prayers are be answered.
Answered and how? Still ahead on eNews, US President Donald Trump has arrived in Vietnam for his highly publicized second meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Cell C employees shut down the mobile operator's head office in Woodmead today over unpaid bonuses. Customers were unable to access the walk-in centre for a period. Workers accuse the communications giant of refusing to pay 25% bonuses, which they say were promised if they met their targets. They claim Cell C has moved the goalposts. The company has confirmed the source of the dispute but wouldn't comment on the details. Here's the union.
Worked hard. We have dedicated our time to this organization. Then we believe that our hard work needs to be rewarded.
Some good news now, and you could soon be paying less for school uniforms. The Competition Commission has reached a settlement with several schools found guilty of anti-competitive behaviour. The agreement includes government and private schools, as John Bailey reports.
School uniforms should be as generic as reasonably possible.
Schools are promising not to prevent competition in the school uniform industry. They're committing to appointing multiple suppliers to give parents more options. A bidding process will now have to be followed when appointing suppliers, and any deals will have time limits.
Parents will have more choice in terms of the product, the quality, but also choice in terms of price.
The Competition Commission launched an investigation following complaints from parents about the exorbitant cost of uniforms. Among those who've pledged to reduce prices are St Andrew's School for Girls, Qunu and Redham.
If we educate our school governing bodies, having them realize that they have the power to negotiate, they have the power to put out the tenders to negotiate the best prices for their parents, I think that's when we're going to start seeing a difference in our school uniform prices.
Schools will also ensure that tenders with uniform suppliers are transparent.
It's going to open up to say, look, you cannot continue looking at one supplier, regardless of the fees. And I think the Commissioner emphasized on this. But you've got to look at various suppliers and consider fees or rather prices that would be in the best interests of your school community.
Parents have been urged to inform the Commission if schools don't stick to their promises. John Bailey, Pretoria.
Let's take a quick look at the markets now. The JSE closed above 56,000 points for the first time in 5 months today. Only property stocks and gold miners under pressure. It was a good day for local stocks. Platinum miners in good shape as the price of platinum sister metal palladium continued to push new highs. On the commodities front, the oil price recovered slightly from yesterday's losses when it came under pressure after US President Donald Trump tweeted that he felt prices were too high. Here at home, the rand continues to fight. Its strength against the dollar may counter rising oil prices to give us a less severe petrol price hike next month. Well, here's hoping. Apart from tweeting more news on the US president's activities, Donald Trump has arrived in the Vietnamese capital Hanoi for his second summit meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Now, the summit is expected to focus on dismantling Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. The two-day summit kicks off with a one-on-one meeting tomorrow between the two leaders. Now, Kim arrived earlier today after a 2.5-day train journey from Pyongyang and through China, and then a 170-kilometer road journey from the Vietnamese border to Hanoi. Ahead, we'll go to our weather centre, where Candice is standing by to give us our live weather news. And then this Chinese man takes Lego to a whole new level. 80,000 pieces to build this masterpiece. Let's go down to Cape Town to say a very good evening to Candice McKechnie. How's the weather looking, Candice?
Hi, good evening, Sally. Well, we saw a bit of a change in the weather today with the arrival of a cold front. It cooled temperatures off and brought in some rainfall this morning. Now, that front has already moved over the southern part of South Africa throughout the day, bringing in some rainfall with it. And it brings in a bit of morning rain into the Eastern Cape still on Wednesday morning. The day also starts off with some fog all along the northeastern escarpment. And as that cold front heads up the coast, it cools temperatures off all the way through to KwaZulu-Natal. It also brings in rainfall over that part of South Africa. We're expecting sunny and dry weather over the western parts, with a handful of showers and thunder showers over the far northeastern and eastern part of the country. Things stay dry in the Northern Cape though, bits of cloud overhead, 32 for Uppington, Priska and Kimberley, 9 and 24 for Sutherland. Cape Town also warming up to 24 degrees. You'll see partly cloudy and dry weather throughout the province and a warm day across the interior, with those highs heading into the middle and upper 20s. A cooler day is forecast throughout the Eastern Cape with the possibility of a few morning showers. 24 degrees as we head towards East London and Port Alfred, and we keep in the mid-20s along the KZN coastline. Cooler temperatures are expected here with quite a bit of cloud and the possibility of rainfall. Dry over the western part of Mpumalanga, but with isolated thunder showers over the central and eastern parts. 33 for Skukuza. Thunder showers extend from Lephalale through to Phalaborwa, with a sizzling hot day for Thabazimbi and Bela Bela, as well as Zeeriston Rustenburg, with a sunny and hot day for much of northwest. Dry as we head towards the Free State, 30 degrees for Bloemfontein and Harrismith not far behind at 29. We keep it around that 30-degree mark for much of Gauteng, with partly cloudy and dry weather on Wednesday. Pretoria warming up to 33 degrees. On Thursday, a few showers remain over the far northeastern parts of the warm day along South Africa's coastline. Sunny and dry weather continues over the western and central parts right the way through to the end of the work week. A few drops of rain for George and some rain for KwaZulu-Natal, with thunder showers right the way through to Pretoria, with a sizzling hot afternoon at 35. That's all from the Weather Centre. Have a good night.
Summer still going strong. Thank you very much, Candice McKechnie. And finally, what would you create with 80,000 pieces of Lego? Well, a Chinese man has built a gigantic cable car masterpiece. All this to celebrate the city of Dalian's rich history of cable cars spanning 110 years. Zhang Shenghui spent more than 120 hours on his Lego masterpiece. Crowds have described the image as magical. They're amazed he achieved this absolute wonderful piece of art just using Lego. I wonder if my kids could come up with something like that. Let's recap your top stories once more before we go. The ANC's Pula and Zizi Kodwa step aside from ANC duties amid separate allegations of sexual abuse. An outrage over the so-called resurrection incident at the Alleluia Ministries International Church, the religious community saying it makes a mockery of their faith. And that's your news. Take care from me and the team. Good night.